Cell 411 is a great free app for Android and iPhone. It allows you to set up public and private cells for dealing with crime, emergencies, setting up neighborhood watch, activism, and even protecting your kids from bullies on the street or at school. Cell 411 gives your cells turn-by-turn directions to your location with one touch on your phone. There is also a Bluetooth panic button available that can be worn on your wrist, belt, or around your neck. Cell 411 has real-time chat for each alert so you can discuss the incident with family or friends in real-time video streaming. The video is stored on Cell 411's servers so your evidence cannot be deleted if your phone is taken or destroyed. Cell 411 has decentralized ride-sharing that allows for payment in any form: crypto, barter, silver, cash, etc. Cell 411 does not take a cut of your fare. Get Cell 411 free on Google Play and the iTunes Store, or go to getcell411.com. That's getcell411.com.
Dead blood in the streets, it's up to my ankles. Feet flat in the streets, it's up to my knees. Feet flat in the street, the town of Chicago. Feet flat on the rise, it's following me.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Abolitionist Abstractions. As always, we are covered by a BIPCOT no government license. This allows reuse by anyone except governments and the agents thereof. You can find out more information about this at bipcot.org. Alright, so I am back, and right off the bat I'll apologize if there are any background noises during this recording. I'll do my best to take them out, but I am currently, I'm still on the road, and I'm actually sitting in one of the county parks with Murder Dog here in the car, and one of the only shady spots, unfortunately, is butted up against the entrance to the park, so people are coming in and out, but I'll do my best to keep the sound mitigated. I did want to record this right now, though. Number one, I'm actually getting this together a little later than I normally have the show, because for the longest time I had these shows coming out on a Thursday, and it's kind of been a little sporadic since I've been out here on the road. And number two, what I want to talk about today has really got my my anger up, and I just couldn't wait anymore. I was actually going to record this a little while ago, and then I got, not so rudely, but I got interrupted by my friend Diana Kyler from the Freedom Fiends, who had wanted to talk to me. We hadn't talked in a while, and she asked if it was a good time for her to call. So I calmed myself down enough to talk to her for a while, and that took my mind off things. But as soon as we got off the phone, I checked the Face Beast, and I saw the post that I had made that had originally made my blood boil, and I was right back up again. I had planned on talking in this episode. I was going to do kind of a covering of the entire situation with my court case that is still ongoing. By the time this actually gets published, it'll be a couple of days before my trial is finally set to begin, almost 15 months after the whole thing started. And I had a number of requests through my vlog my daily vlog that I've been doing on Steemit, about my Murder Dogs and I's adventures in vanarchy out here, and being the van nomads that we are these days. A couple of people had mentioned through the comments on those blogs that they wanted to get kind of a recap, I guess, of everything that's happened leading up to this, and also including the mess that I dealt with trying to sell my house. And, because it was all government related. And I was all set to do an episode on that. And then I happened to catch a post on social media by somebody else earlier today of an article from Reason.com that just came out today. And the headline is, New York finally gets around to maybe holding police officers responsible for Eric Garner's killing. And as soon as I read that, I didn't even have the article before I started to lose my shit. Because, the Eric Garner case, for those who don't know, Eric Garner was the man who was killed, flat out murdered, as far as I'm concerned, by the NYPD 4 years ago this week, actually, for the horrible crime of selling loose cigarettes on a public street. and refusing to cooperate with them, even though there's video of this incident, and you can see the entire time that Mr. Garner was being extremely passive with these individuals. He was just tired of getting harassed over and over and over again for committing what is a victimless crime, selling people loosies, as they're often known, which, has been outlawed in New York City for the longest time. But again, there's no victim there whatsoever. But yeah, they decided to harass the hell out of him and end up putting one officer in particular, the scumbag known as Daniel Pantaleo? Yeah, that asshole. Put him in a chokehold and killed the guy. Now, of course, the NYPD was, he didn't actually kill him. He died on the way to the hospital, maybe a result of his injuries. But no, that motherfucker murdered Eric Garner. And I have been pissed off ever since. I mean, so much so that that's actually what caused my break with Stefan Molyneux all those years ago, when he actually tried to defend the actions of the police by saying that they were protecting the shop owners who were paying, who had to pay the cigarette taxes for the cigarettes they sold. And here was this guy trying to skirt the system by this. So he was actually negatively impacting them. It was at that point that I gave up on fucking Molyneux and said, fuck you, you bald wannabe Canadian bastard. So yeah, I've been angry about this for a long time, and the fact that I read this article today, and then once I actually did read it and realized that, yeah, now 4 years later, that fucking scumbag Pantaleo is still on the fucking job. He's still collecting a fucking paycheck off the fucking backs of the people of New York City. It is fucking despicable. Now, I know I talked to Michael Dean recently, and he mentioned something about the fact that my cursing gets a little out of control sometimes. Well, as I told him then, sometimes fucking is the right word to use. And when it comes to this fucking scumbag, Daniel Pantaleo, I'm gonna be irate. So this one's not gonna be radio friendly, folks. Maybe not for the children. I don't know. Depends on how you raise yours. Definitely not safe for work. Oops, little late with that that warning there, but. Man, am I pissed off. So, yeah, 4 years ago, they murdered this guy in broad daylight on video. And this son of a bitch, Pantaleo, still has his job. And now, as the article states, after all this time, the NYPD has finally decided that they're going to proceed with an administrative trial next year, which will be then almost 5 years, or maybe even 5 years by the time they finally get around to it. 5 years since Eric Garner was murdered. They're finally going to have an administrative trial against Pantaleo and the supervisor, whose name I've lost at this point, but I really don't give a shit. They're all fucking scumbags as far as I'm concerned. The NYPD is one of the world's largest terrorist organizations. I'll fucking say it again. The NYPD is one of the world's largest terrorist organizations. And I actually have friends people I know, family friends who are in the NYPD. I'm sorry, you're one of them. Because you know what? For all the rhetoric people, all the people who defend the cops and give the good, just the bad apple fucking routine. You know what? The fact that the rest of you aren't up in arms and haven't refused to work with Pantaleo and demanded that he be kicked off the force after what he fucking did is fucking sickening. You all fucking sicken me. Now, obviously, I know some people will say, oh, you just have a problem with the cops. Damn right I have a problem with the fucking goddamn pigs. Not only do they fucking take extorted money, they fucking harass, kidnap, cage, and in cases like this, flat out fucking murder the citizenry with almost fucking complete immunity. And it is fucking disgusting. So please, anybody listening, you want to give me that good cop, the one bad apple, oh, there are good cops routine? Fuck you. Because there aren't. Good cops would be turning this motherfucker out. Good cops would hand this motherfucker over to the public and let him get the justice that he has served. Because what I posted today about this, because reading through this article, the whole thing about the administrative trial, that's only to finally decide if he loses his job. 4 years. Now, actually, no, sorry, when the trial starts, 5 years. 5 years after he murdered a man in fucking broad daylight and got away with it because of his shiny fucking badge. It is fucking despicable. Man, I'm fired up. Wow, I managed to calm down enough to have that conversation with Diana. I am fired all the way back up again. My blood pressure, I've talked about in recent vlogs and maybe in a podcast too, I thought was a problem recently. It's definitely going to be a problem after this one. Man, oh man, it so sickens me that these fucks continue to get away with this stuff. Because, yeah, an administrative leave. Oh, maybe he'll lose his job. And to make it even more egregious, the reason it's taken this long is that the Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of Justice, just yesterday, finally decided to give the okay for the NYPD to proceed with their own hearings and their own, form of justice for this. Now, the reality is the NYPD could have done this at any time. It didn't matter that there was this investigation by the DOJ. And fuck the DOJ too, by the way, that it took them 4 fucking years to make a decision on this. 4 fucking years to say, oh yeah, you should proceed with this. But so fuck the DOJ, but that wasn't even necessary. The NYPD at any time could have said, yeah, we're not waiting for you. We're proceeding with our own investigation. Although, again, this is on fucking video. There isn't much investigation needed. Eric Garner was murdered by Daniel Pantaleo in broad fucking daylight on a city street. And the whole thing was fucking videotaped. All because Eric Garner was tired of being pushed around by the cops for trying to make a little money while he wasn't harming anyone. Yeah, why do I hate the cops? Reasons like this. It's unfucking real. 5 years later, and they're finally going to have a trial to see if this asshole and his fucking supervisor will lose their jobs. And on top of all that, this stuff happens. It's rare that fucking cops get indicted for anything. It's even rarer that they're found guilty. But even when they lose their fucking jobs, somehow, miraculously, these fucksticks still manage to keep their goddamn pension. Which also, oh yeah, by the way, is paid for by the goddamn tax cattle of New York City. Now, I don't have a respect for a lot of people in New York City because of the way they fucking vote and the shit they fucking do to make things even worse around there. But, the fact that these assholes continue to get paid, which, of course, does tie into what I was originally going to talk about, my situation, because that's how my whole shit started. When my post went viral, when I was pissed off that fucking, even after their death, government workers are getting fucking taken care of on my fucking dime. When I had no idea who these fucking people were, they never did a goddamn thing for me. They never even, quote unquote, protected the areas that I fucking lived in. But I gotta fucking pay for it? Even after they're fucking dead? Fuck you. And these fuckers, like I said, most likely somehow the fucking police unions will find a way to make sure this motherfucker still gets his pension, even if he is somehow found guilty in this trial and he's actually guilty of administrative shit. He'll lose his job. Big fucking deal. This piece of shit has been allowed to continue to rape the taxpayers for his so-called services for the past 4 years after he murdered a man in broad fucking daylight. It is fucking sickening. There should be riots in the streets over this shit. When other people talk to people like myself and say, "Oh, you just hate cops," or whatever, or "You anarchist, you have no respect," call a crackhead. Yeah, guess what? Crackhead ain't gonna fucking murder you like this shit because you're trying to fucking make a goddamn buck. Fucking sickening. I think I started to say it before. I don't even know if I finished. I'm so fucking riled up right now. But when I saw this, I made a post about it because I was reading it and I said I got to the part of the administrative trial. I wrote, I think my post almost verbatim was, "Lose his job?" with a question mark. "Jail?" with a question mark. Fuck that shit. Daniel Pantaleo deserves to be choked out in the middle of Times Square and then left for fucking dead. And even that would be too kind. Fucking cockroaches. Because that's what they are. They're fucking cockroaches. And it makes me fucking sick. They get away with this shit so many fucking times. And what do people do about it? People still defend the actions of the goddamn police. Even after the fucking 9 goddamn bastards in the fucking black robes have ruled time and time again that they're not there to protect any individual. They're just there to uphold the law, which means they are there to enforce the government's will. They are not there to protect you or anybody else, except the government. So the fact that anybody can defend these people, especially, and of all places, with the NYPD, not only one of the most corrupt organizations to ever exist, but as I've already said multiple times, and will now say again, one of the largest terrorist organizations in the fucking world. They intimidate, they fucking terrorize the fucking population of New York City. Whether it's stop and frisk or any other the bullshit that has gone on over the fucking decades in that fucking hellhole. They are fucking terrorists, and they should be treated as such. I mean, just look what happened a couple of years ago when that guy came up who allegedly was either crazy or on drugs or whatever, but came all the way up from, I think it was Baltimore, and ended up shooting those 2 cops in Brooklyn in the back of their heads while they were sitting in their car. Huge uproar about, the war on cops. But guess what happened? For the next 2 weeks, the fucking NYPD was so scared, how they're allowed to shoot anybody and their dog just because they feared for their lives. Well, those motherfuckers were so afraid for their lives, they didn't enforce any fucking laws for 2 goddamn weeks. They didn't bust anybody for any petty bullshit for 2 goddamn weeks because they were too afraid that somebody was going to say, you know what, fuck you, officer, and pull out a gun. I'm not committing a fucking crime. You're committing a motherfucking crime right now by harassing an innocent person who's engaging in some type of voluntary interaction with another human being. Yeah, all that shit went away. They didn't do anything. They were too afraid. And that's the way it fucking should be. These motherfuckers should be afraid. And not this bullshit, I fear for my life because I was trained to fucking pull the trigger and ask questions later. No, they should be afraid that anybody that they harass for doing anything that doesn't involve a victim is going to turn around and say, no, fuck you, buddy, and pull a gun on them. Now, I've got my own legal situation going on right now, and I'm sure there's going to be people out there who tell me I shouldn't be talking like this, especially now, but I don't fucking care. I am so pissed off right now. These people are fucking scumbags. And yes, that means your uncle, your cousin, your friend. Yeah, all you motherfuckers who aren't out there fucking throwing people like Daniel Pantaleo to the fucking wolves, you're just as fucking guilty. You are fucking they might be more culpable for their actions, but you are just as fucking culpable for not doing a goddamn thing about it and hiding behind that fucking thin blue line. You fucking pussies. I've heard the line a lot before, the only good cop is a dead cop. Sometimes I don't want to go that far, but to me, the only qualification on that I could think of is, other than that, the only good cop is one who actually quits and says, I can't do this anymore. Or does get fired for trying to turn his brothers in blue in for their actual transgressions. Because that does happen. Not often enough, because the police unions and just the aura of the police scares most people into fucking silence. Or they see what happens to the so-called whistleblowers who actually do try to speak up. And then these people are actually terrorized by their former brothers in blue until they shut up and don't say anything anymore. Or they're just ostracized and made to look like, they're turning on these great heroes. They're not fucking heroes, folks. They voluntarily take a job where they agree to take extorted money as payment. They agree to enforce the laws no matter if there's a victim or not. No matter what the arbitrary edict is, they swear an oath to uphold these things. And then they're given bullshit discretion, which is most often not used unless it helps out them or a family member or a friend or somebody who could do them a favor. But they'll bust people like Eric Garner for selling loose cigarettes on a street corner and murder the guy for it. So for all those people who ever talk about, the taxation is theft crowd and all you people, oh, you're being so hyperbolic, or, people, you won't get killed over that. Oh, really? Oh, really? When you boil it down, what Eric Garner was doing was avoiding the tax laws. He was murdered in broad daylight by Daniel Pantaleo for avoiding the tax laws. So fuck you if you say that every interaction with a cop can't end in your death, no matter how trivial it is. There is no law or regulation that a cop won't kill you over if they decide it's fucking necessary. So fuck them, fuck the NYPD, and fuck Daniel Pantaleo. Like I said, that motherfucker needs to be choked out in public and then left for dead. And that would be too kind. He deserves a lot fucking worse for what he did. And the fact that the DOJ took 4 years to okay the NYPD to proceed with their own investigation, and the fact that the NYPD doesn't have the balls to do something about it ahead of time and say, oh yeah, he really fucked up. There's no way around this. Fuck all of them. Fuck you. You people are wrong, or what's wrong with society. And the defenders of cops, you're culpable too. The one who took the action, Daniel Pantaleo, oh, he's definitely the worst. But everybody else who covers up for him or defends him, you're a piece of shit. And you're a waste of human flesh. And you should do the rest of society a favor and fucking kill yourselves. That would be fucking justice. Well, with that, I think I could rant, but I'm probably going to keep going over the same shit. My blood is obviously still fucking boiling. I got my own shit to deal with, but what they did to Eric Garner is fucking unconscionable. Can't even say the fucking word right now, god damn it. There is no fucking justice here, folks. There never fucking will be. Until people take it into their own fucking hands. And like I said, that's what that motherfucker deserves to have happen to him. Actual justice. Street fucking justice. You murder a man in broad daylight like that and you think you can get away with it? Fuck you, buddy. I remember when this fucking... Now I'm going to start going again. Jesus Christ. I remember when this fucking happened. And he was all... him and his family were scared for their lives because they were getting death threats. You think? You should be scared for your life. You should spend every waking moment for the rest of your fucking life terrified that somebody's going to come up behind you and put you in a fucking chokehold and let you fucking die there. Fuck you, Daniel Pantaleo. Fuck you in the ass with a spike-covered bat soaked in fucking acid. Fuck you, buddy. Rest in peace, Eric Garner. You didn't deserve this shit, man. But some of us, we still remember what happened to you. And we're just as fucking mad as we were when we heard what happened. That's not going to go away. I'll probably stay pissed off about this until I know that motherfucker's finally dead. Well, with that, I think I will end the podcast. I think I've presented enough incriminating evidence against myself. But again, fuck you all. I don't care. Pieces of shit need to be called out for the pieces of shit they are. And Daniel Pantaleo is a piece of fucking shit. And so is the rest of the NY fucking PD. Fucking terrorists. Fuck you guys. Thank you, everybody, as always, for listening. This has been Abolitionist Abstractions. All of my content can be found at solpodcast.org and at steemit.com/@abolitionistj. And I'll catch you guys next time. Love, peace, voluntary interactions for all. Except the fucking NYPD and you rest of you fucking cockroaches. You don't deserve a goddamn thing.
Indians scattered on dawn's highway bleeding. Ghosts crowd the young child's fragile eggshell mind.
Are you sick of seeing peaceful people being locked away for victimless crimes? Instead of trying to get out of jury duty, consider taking it so you can do the right thing. A single juror with a conscience can send someone home to their family instead of to a jail cell. If there's no victim, how can there be a crime? And if the judge or prosecutor are keeping you in the dark, what are they trying to hide? You can vote your conscience instead of being a pawn of the state. For more information, Google jury nullification or check out the Fully Informed Jury Association at fija.org.